Could it be? But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the Skill Game, brought to you by Sleeper. We'll get to the Sleeper app here in a bit. But before we do that, we've got Thursday Night Football kicking off week number 12. Two teams looking to get hot at the right time of the season. Texans are finding ways to win with backup Davis Mills in the lineup. He's won 2 consecutive starts, both within the division. This time he's venturing outside of the AFC South to try to get his 3rd consecutive win in relief of starting quarterback C.J. Stroud, who is still out with a concussion he suffered versus the Denver Broncos 3 weeks ago. Meanwhile, for the Buffalo Bills, they had a bit of a hiccup a couple of weeks ago against the Miami Dolphins, bounced back in a major way. Josh Allen accounted for 6 touchdowns last week in a home victory in week 11 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can they poly that momentum to a Thursday night victory to get back on track and stay connected to the all of a sudden juggernaut New England Patriots, who stand at 9-2 heading into week number 12? Big game for the Bills. Quick turnaround. Can they get it done against one of the best defenses in football? Let's talk about it. So we start there with Buffalo. That's where this game is going to be won or lost, because Buffalo's defense isn't very good this season. They're giving it up on the ground at a high clip. You can throw the football against this Bills defense. They're not elite in any category statistically, defensively. You're going to have to score points if you're the Buffalo Bills, and the Texans just don't give it up on a weekly basis. They are as tough as you will find in the NFL when it comes to scoring the football against. They've given up the fewest amount of touchdowns this season. They've allowed the fewest amount of points to be scored this season. They're one of the best run defenses, so you're taking away pretty much, in my mind's eye at least, any thought of James Cook having a massive impact on this game from a ground standpoint. Doesn't mean he can't catch it out of the backfield, but Cook is such a big part of what they do on the ground. Don't think he's going to be a massive factor in this football game. But that doesn't mean Josh Allen, who we've seen this Texans defense struggle with the mobile quarterback this season. If there is an Achilles heel, it's the mobile quarterback getting out in space against this Texans defense. I've got to believe that they're going to make a concerted effort to stop Josh Allen from using his legs, because he's so dynamic in that regard. We saw that last week. If you're Buffalo, it's a short week, and that favors defense. I always feel like these Thursday night games favor the defensive team, because defenses aren't super complex. You are who you are. You do what you do defensively. Meanwhile, offenses need the full week to study a defense, to put in and implement plays that they want to call. And you just don't have that kind of time on a short week, especially when you're the road team and you have to travel like Buffalo does. And so you go to the things that work. You go to your staples. And really what it's going to boil down to is, can the Bills out-execute this Texans defense? It's probably going to be a lot of Josh Allen tonight. They're going to be relying on 17. This team has not been great in these type of environments this season. They struggled. They lost on a Sunday night against the New England Patriots at home. They lost on the road on a Monday night to the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not saying that they're going to lose this game, Buffalo, but I am saying that it would not shock me if they did. This defense that the Texans have is serious business. And this Bills offense has been up and down this season. And now you condense this week and you ask this Buffalo offense, who doesn't feature a number 1 wide receiver, who's without their best tight end and probably Josh Allen's most reliable target to get the football to, in Dalton Kincaid. And you say, hey, Josh, go win us the football game, big boy, without a run game. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But the reason why I have confidence that they can is because of Josh Allen. We'll see if he can get it done or not. On the flip side of that, the other reason why I have confidence that Buffalo is still going to somehow manage to win this game, albeit a very low-scoring affair, I believe, not like the shootout they had against Tampa Bay last week, is because Davis Mills is starting at quarterback. And maybe I need to stop disrespecting Davis Mills. Maybe Davis Mills' 2 wins, especially the first one against Jacksonville and come from behind fashion, should be enough for me to respect his gangster as a backup quarterback and give him some love and show him the respect that he deserves. But I'm just not there yet. Not in this setting against Buffalo. Davis Mills has been fine. And I think he's carved out a niche for himself in this league as a quality backup quarterback. He's managed this offense. They did just enough last week to beat Tennessee on the road. It was not an impressive showing, but it was good enough to win, and that's all that matters. This is going to be a much bigger test in the Buffalo Bills, albeit their defense isn't great. Still, can Davis Mills manage the offense? The thing that he should have this week that he didn't really have last week was the reliance of the run game. Titans feature a much more stingier run defense, and that's family business to boot. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills give it up on the ground, and so maybe Woody Marks and or Nick Chubb can get going in this football game and take some pressure off of Davis Mills, who's actually done a pretty good job of distributing the football. Can he continue to do that in this game? Not turn it over. That's going to be huge because the Bills feast off of mistakes. Can he take care of the football, not turn it over, not put this extraordinary defense in compromising positions? If you got to punt the football. But when throws are there to be made, when opportunities present themselves, can Davis Mills take advantage of them and put touchdowns on the scoreboard instead of field goals? We know this Texans offense settles for a ton of field goals. Can they find a way to put the ball in the end zone and apply pressure to Buffalo, forcing them to play from behind and have to play catch up against an elite defense? If the answer is no, I think Buffalo and Josh Allen would do just enough to win if Davis Mills can not only manage the game and help them survive offensively, but help them thrive offensively by making timely throws and putting the football into the end zone, converting on third downs, and if they decide to go for it on the fourth down there as well, then the Texans will have a chance to win 3 straight with their backup at the helm. I don't see that happening, but I would not be shocked if the Bills lost this game because of all of the things that I've mentioned already. But I've got Buffalo winning this game 20-16, low-scoring affair, defensive-laden game, but I've got the Texans falling in this game 20-16. I wouldn't be shocked if this thing is 16-13 late, Texans ahead, and Josh Allen takes the Bills on a game-winning drive and gives them the win 20-16, similar to what Baker Mayfield did to this Texans team on a Monday night earlier this season. It's going to be similar to that game. Very low-scoring, defensive-driven, but I think the Bills will somehow come out on top with the very close victory. So with that said, let's get to the skill game, brought to you by Sleeper.
The skill game, brought to you by Sleeper.
All right, so Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that focuses on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 10 million active users in 2025. With that said, if you aren't one of those 10 million, here's an opportunity for you to become one of those 25 million by simply clicking the link in the description of this video. It'll take you to where you can download the Sleeper app. If you haven't already done so, make sure that Sleeper is available in your area, available in over 30 states in the U.S. Once you've verified that you are who you say you are, they're going to give you $20 free to use on the app. And then I would advise you to use my promo code LTN to get you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. That's right, a dollar for dollar match. You put in 100 to maximize the amount that they're going to match. They're going to match that money. That's $200 if you put in 100, right? The 100 you put in, the 100 they give you to match. Then the $20, that's $220 total. And I can attest, you can probably attest to, if you've used this app before, or any app for that matter, doesn't take a lot to win a lot. So with that said, let's get busy on this Sleeper app and talk about, I've had some success here lately, man. I told y'all that I was going to turn it up. Now, I haven't had any success in the NFL space, but I think I figured out why that is. So the only time I've won in the NFL was week 1, Buffalo versus Baltimore on a Sunday night. I haven't won since. And really what I've done in the NBA, I've won 2 nights in a row in the NBA. And I've come up with the plan of how I can, nickel and dime my way to staying afloat until I can hit it big, right? Now I'm getting close. But the key is to win. Get some dubs up under your belt. I'm doing that now. I haven't done that in the NFL space. And I think the biggest problem for me in the NFL space has been I wanted to see what the boosts were. So they got a 25% pick boost here. I haven't been taking advantage of the thing that makes me me, which is being over analytical. It can be a gift and a curse. It can backfire. It can bite me in my ass, but it could also be my greatest gift and my superpower. And when I am at my best, I study, and then I make shrewd decisions. Whether they work out or not is of no consequence. I mean, it's out of my control. But I did the legwork to put myself in the best position to make a buck, right? To win and have my ticket punched. When it comes to these NFL picks, I usually do them live with you. But that's the problem, is I'm kind of like going off the cuff, just making picks, not really sure if I believe in what I'm doing. Then I'm looking down in the chat and I'm seeing people give me suggestions and I'm like, oh, I should do that. And I'm waffling, I'm flopping, I'm back and forth. I don't know. That's not me. I'm a guy of conviction. I stand 10 toes down in what I believe in, and then I make the pick. So I've already put together a ticket for this game. And that may be what I do moving forward, especially if I win tonight. I've analyzed this game in my mind of how I envision it playing out. There are some things that I could have done, like Josh Allen rush yards could have been something. But for some reason in my mind, I think the Texans are going to be hypersensitive to Josh Allen, the runner. Not to say that he won't get away tonight and hurt him for a couple of big gains, but he's not doing what he did last week to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think it's going to be more like the Atlanta game earlier, where the Falcons were all over Josh Allen. Like, bro, you're not running on us tonight. And so that's kind of where my head is. Let's see. I'm going to show you guys what I've done here. So I maxed this ticket out. So I'm asking for a lot to happen, but none of it is out of the realm of possibility. And what I've learned too over time, I'm a big learner, right? I'm good at doing things, learning as I go, getting better, etc. So one of the things I've learned is you don't have to be aggressive all the time. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes more is better, but it doesn't necessarily have to be super aggressive as you do more. For instance, you can have 4 picks. They're super aggressive picks, right? They're things that they're giving you, 2.67 multipliers on 3 point whatever 4. Like, these are things that are really far-fetched that probably aren't going to happen. They could happen. They're not impossible, but they're they're less likely to happen. Very unlikely to happen. Then there are things where you're like, I know that's going to happen, bro. And if you have 4 or 5 of those things, don't be afraid to put them all on the ticket. Maybe one of them doesn't happen and you get got, but you can't be afraid in that situation. That's what I have tonight in front of me. Like last week, I wasn't sure. I just put a few things on the ticket. Even Monday, I was like, I just want to win. I put a few things on the ticket and it still didn't hit. Here, I feel really good about what I'm doing. And I'll give you my rationale as to why I did it. So here's what I've put together. First of 8 picks on this ticket is Ka'imi Fairbairn. The veteran kicker for the Texans has been very busy this season. As you can see, Fairbairn has made at least 2 kicks in each of the last 5 weeks, including 5 field goals last week against Tennessee in the win, or 5 field goals against Denver 2 weeks ago when he was in the lineup. They've had a backup kicker, Matthew Wright, kicking for them the last 2 weeks. But he made 5 field goals against Denver and 4 field goals against San Francisco the week prior to that. So we know that the Texans kick field goals. They have a defensive-minded head coach in D'Amico Ryans, who isn't with all of this analytics bullshit. If they get into field goal range, he knows his defense is good enough to win games, holding teams down. He's going to take the points. So I expect Ka'imi Fairbairn to get active tonight. Now, Buffalo can hurt me here and allow them to score touchdowns. And if that happens, I'm cooked, right? I'm cooked. But I expect him to kick 2 field goals tonight. Nick Chubb, not going to get a lot of opportunities. I'm a little nervous about this one because I said I'm going Nick Chubb because of the liability of this Bills defense on the ground. They don't stop the run very well. So I think both of their running backs, Nick Chubb and the rookie Woody Marks can get active tonight. But Chubb is the one I look at saying, because it's more reasonable for me. I think Woody Marks has like the longest run is like 13.5 yards. That's too many yards for me. Maybe, and I wouldn't be shocked if he breaks off the 16-yard run tonight. But Chubb only needs 9 yards on his biggest run. He's only going to get he's only going to get 3 to 7 carries max. Like I started to go with one of two options for him. And I'll click on it so you can see. It was either going to be longest rush, 8.5 yards, rush yards, which is 23.5, or rush attempts. And I mulled over rush attempts versus longest rush because he could not get to 25 yards, 24 yards roughly rushing tonight. He could not get to that threshold with only 3 carries, right? Because look, as you can see last week, his numbers are going down steadily because Woody Marks has taken over as the lead back in Houston. So he went from 17 a month ago against San Francisco, 11 against Denver 3 weeks ago, to 5 against Jacksonville, which is where Woody Marks took over as a starter, and then just 3 carries last week against Tennessee. The difference is Tennessee's a stout rush defense. Jacksonville's solid. This week, you're playing a less than stellar rush defense. Maybe he gets more opportunities, but you have to play from in front with a lead in order to get more attempts on the ground. I can't be assured that the Texans are going to do that. Here's what I am assured of. He's going to get 3 or 4 carries, bare minimum, and all he has to do on one of those carries is go for 9 yards against one of the worst rush defenses in football. I'll take my chances with Nick Chubb doing that. Give me 8.5 yards, so 9 yards as the longest rush for Nick Chubb. Dalton Schultz, the number for him in this game is set at 4.5 receptions, which he can easily exceed. As you can see, he's had 6, 7, and 6 the last 3 weeks. He's going to get the football, whether it's Davis Mills at quarterback or it's CJ Stroud. I just opted for it to bust that number down to 3. So all he needs is 3 catches in this game. He's going to get 3 catches. I feel pretty confident about that. Xavier Hutchinson, another guy that you love when these backups come in to go after guys who have caught a lot of passes from the backup quarterback in practice because there's a symmetry and a chemistry there between the two. Xavier Hutchinson has had some success here of late. 3 catches last week, 0 catches against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. So that's in the back of my mind. But I feel like he's going to continue to see opportunities. And I took him on the 1.5 receptions. So he just needs 2 catches tonight. Jaden Higgins is another guy, young player, getting an opportunity. Now that you're getting deeper into his rookie season, they're relying on him a little bit more, and Higgins is starting to respond. So I not only took him on, as you can see here, the receiving yards at 28.5. He's had more than that each of the last 2 weeks, so he's ascending. I also took him on 2.5 receptions. So those are kind of linked for me. I'm hoping that there's a chunk play in there with him, and I just need 3 catches. And if he can get my 29 yards on 3 catches, great. 2 birds killed, 1 stone, right? And then I had to throw some Buffalo things because all of those are just Texans. I'm confident on who the Texans are. The Bills are a bit of an enigma. Every week, you're not really sure. I know who the Houston Texans are. They're not going to score a bunch of points, right? They're going to try and run the football. They're going to try to minimize their mistakes. They're going to play sound defense, and they're going to try to keep the score low because they know they can't win in a shootout. I know who they are. I don't know who the hell Buffalo is from week to week. One week, they're this high-flying team that can score 40 if need be. The next week, they're losing to Miami. Then the following week, they're beating Kansas City. Like, I don't know who the hell's showing up. Here's what I do know. James Cook isn't going to get 18 attempts tonight. Unless the Bills are playing, unless Davis Mills just wets the bed, turns it over a bunch, and the Bills take advantage of those turnovers, and this thing gets out of control, which I don't see happening with this Texans defense. James Cook isn't getting 18 carries against this stingy Texans defense. I just don't see it happening. So feel confident that he's going to have less than 18 rush attempts. And then this one's a little risky. I won't lie. This could kill my entire ticket, but no risk it, no biscuit. So here of late, Ty Johnson has started to get back involved in this offense. I don't know what the hell happened at the beginning of the season because Josh Allen swore by Ty Johnson last year as one of the best receiving running backs in football. And then all of a sudden this year, he's been non-existent until here of late. He's starting to get back into the swing of things. As you can see, he's had at least 2 catches each of the last 3 weeks. He had a big catch last week for like 40-something yards and a touchdown. He's had at least 3 straight games of over 5, his biggest catch being 6 yards, which is what it's at this week, 5.5. So I think he's going to catch a screen or some sort of swing pass out of the backfield. And one of these catches is going to go for at least 6 yards. I'm banking on Ty Johnson doing that for the 4th consecutive week because I think Josh Allen is looking for him again. And I think he's going to be a big part of this offense moving forward the rest of this season. So that's my ticket. James Cook, less than 18 carries. Ty Johnson, a catch tonight for at least 6 yards. Jaden Higgins, at least 3 catches for at least 29 yards. Xavier Hutchinson, at least 2 catches tonight. Dalton Schultz, at least 3 catches tonight. Nick Chubb, a run of 9 yards or more. And Kamimi Fairbairn, at least 2 field goals made for the Texans kicker. That is a full ticket, but that also can net the kid $361 with a 20% profit boost. I have a chance to walk home with $360 roughly if this thing goes well for me tonight. So that's what it looks like. I feel really good about this. This is the first time in a long time I've felt really good about an NFL ticket. Now let's see if I can punch said ticket. Anyhow, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the Skill Game, brought to you by Sleeper. Let's get to the comment section, and I'll get you guys out of here.
The Skill Game, brought to you by Sleeper.
All right, so let's get to the comment section really fast, and then we'll get out of here. So first up is my guy, T.A. Thomas Arrington. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, T.A. writes, "Sup, Lou? Sup, T.A.? It's been a little bit. It's been a while. What's going on with you? Sadly, haven't been watching many of your shows recently for obvious reasons. Anyway, go Terps. Hey, it's all love, man. I know it's been a while since I've chopped it up with you, but hey, go do your thing, man." He says, "F the Dookies." Come on. Come on. You didn't have to throw the little jab in there. Bat. You didn't have to get me with the jab a couple of times, right? And let's get this sleeper money tonight. I'm with it. Let's do it. The kid is hot. I'm hot at the dice table, man. I'm gonna keep rolling the dice. NBA has been my joint recently too. I'm killing the NBA space. I got a few NBA picks for tonight. Hopefully, I keep my streak high. Let's hit something. Whether it's NBA, NFL, let's hit something. I'm hot right now. Love it. TA. He says, "Dude, like your picks, but the Chubster pick I would prefer with Woody instead." I understand. I looked at everything Woody marks, and it scared me personally. The longest rush was too long. The amount of rush yards they have him going for is too many. Even though all of these things against Buffalo's rush defense, highly likely, I just wanted something safer. And I think Chubb can pop a 9-yard run. You're right, though. He's not going to get a lot of opportunities, is Nick Chubb. And so he's got to make the most of them. And that is a very, very risky pick. It could tank my entire ticket because he just doesn't see the field very often anymore. So I am risking it here. I am. He said, yeah, anything with Woody would have given me more. And I like volume. I like guys that give me more opportunities, not less. So this goes against normally the way that I, approach picks. Like, I don't want a 3-point, I don't want to put a 3-point made on my ticket for a guy that doesn't shoot volume, right? I want more opportunities, not less. Even if it's enticing, this guy only has to make 1 3, but he only shoots 3 of them a game. And you have a really small window to get that 1 3, right? Versus picking somebody to make 3 threes, but they shoot 9 or 10 a game. I got more shots at making 3, right? Same amount that I need, right? One guy needs to make 1 3, he only gets 3 shots. Another guy needs to make 3 threes and he gets 10 shots. It's still like a 30% chance, but I got more opportunities. I get what you're saying with Woody. I'm defying my own logic here. I just trust Nick Chubb is going to find a way to get me a 9-yard carry. I just feel like he's going to do that tonight. So I hope, fingers crossed, right? Anyway, he says, anyways, good luck. Hashtag, go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Likewise, TA. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Likewise, you go get the money as well, man. Hopefully we'll meet back here later on tonight and we'll both share stories of hitting it tonight. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Anyway, I digress. So that is going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on The Skill Game. Brought to you by Sleeper. You know where to find me at game's conclusion. We'll come back and we'll talk about whether the kid hit on one of these tickets or not. Whether we did or not, I'll be back to talk about it. I'm due for an NFL win, man. This feels right. Let's make it tonight, like Betty Wright. Anyway, you guys get out of here. See you next time. Peace.